Okay. Getting older, I'll soon be 54. Getting older, I find there's not a lot of advantages, but there's one I find that's really important. And this is not some super trick skill. It's something everyone has, but you may not be aware of it, especially if you're younger. Um, but it's if you nurture it, if you realize it, nurture it, and you keep your senses sharp to it, you can really it'll save you a lot of trouble. As you get older, you become more aware when someone is speaking to you, or you're watching someone speak. Could be someone on the television or video or something. You can tell when they're lying to you. You can tell when they're holding something back, or maybe they're showing you this hand to hide what they got over here, kind of thing. Um, you just it's like a sixth sense. You just get this awareness, where it's like, oh. That's like it's when you're younger, you shouldn't argue with old people because one, they don't have the patience for it, and you'll notice while you're talking, they're not. They're listening to you, and they're picking up everything, and they're seeing right. If you're lying, they're seeing right through it, and so it's very annoying to the older folks. Okay, I used to try this with my mom and my grandparents, and they knew I was full of crap. But when I was in my 20s, I didn't see this. Started in my 30s. I mean, in my 20s, you could have sold me a bridge in the desert. But in my 30s, I'd been around, kind of had been lied to enough. I've told enough lies, experienced enough lies, this kind of thing. Ask any girlfriend I've ever had. Um, that you can understand the mechanics of it. So you can see when it's coming because you can see yourself in it. I've done this before. Why is this guy, this guy's trying to sell me something? Or this guy's not telling me about something. Uh, or why isn't this guy talking enough about this? It's just you just pick up these things because you've seen it so many. It's an experience thing. If you're 24, you may not have much experience in this, but it'll come. All I'm saying is nurture it. Okay, um, it's very like when these politicians are speaking, it's canned. It's predetermined what they're going to say. They know the questions beforehand, so they in their wicked mind, they've already got it. They've already got confidence in what they're saying. So it's hard to they're lying, but I mean it comes out really well. So politicians aren't real good to figure this way. I've watched. I'm not a huge fan of Joe Rogan. Uh, I mean, he's an okay person, I guess. But I've watched a fair amount of interviews on Joe Rogan, and some people that are very popular, very famous, and I'm not gonna see their names. It's not important. But I've seen these people that are very successful, and when they start talking, you can pick up they're full of crap. I mean, they're some outlandish stories and this kind of things. Like, and it's not so much that they're lying to me, but they're maybe they got this scheme. They're this thing about they did of their I've done this, that, and the other thing, because they're hiding something else. They have an insecurity, is what it is. Most people do this out of insecurity. I've done it myself when I was younger. You're spinning your yarn about all this stuff over here because you don't want them to find out that you're weak over here. Um, but once you start to understand, it's when someone is lying to you, that's one thing. But if someone is saying something that's not the truth because they're trying to protect an insecurity they have, it's not like someone's outright lying to you. They're in a defensive position. Okay, they don't want to show you maybe that they're in fear or scared, so they're going to show it's. I don't want to get too into the weeds. But as you get older, you'll notice it when you're younger. Maybe you'll doubt yourself. But like I said, as you've told a few lies and as you've been lied to, you pick these things up. And by the time like I said, I'll be 54 here pretty quick. And it's just really hard if it's like somebody does an interview, like I said, not a politician, because their stuff's all they know it's all scripted. But you see some of these people that'll give interviews, and every now and then there'll be one to say, well, that guy was straight up the whole time. That guy had confidence in what he said. When he didn't know something, he'd say, hey, I don't know anything about that. But if you get people that are trying to cover something up, they just dig holes. I mean, but that's if you look out for that, if it feels like it's not right, and it's usually someone's trying to hold something from you, and it's typically not because they have a problem with you, although you may be a threat to whatever the problem is, but it's typically they're hiding something that they have a problem with in themselves. It's about them, not you. They just can't have you find out about it. So they'll spin some yarn or tell you some embellished story or whatever the case is to keep you from finding out the real truth about them. So it's not about someone just outright lying to you, but as you get older, you'll pick up on this. And so I've had a lot of friends that were cops, and I had two friends that said the same thing that were cops. They just can't. We were divorced, and they tried to get back on the dating scene, and they had a terrible time dating. Meet all kinds of women, but just had a terrible time. They'd meet some gal, they make a dinner date, they go on this first date, and they tell you, we sit there for this dinner date for an hour or two, and the woman would just lie to me from the get-go. The entire conversation was lying to me because they know cops deal with this all the time, and so they just pick up on it. As you get older, you'll have the same skill. It's not some supernatural thing that I have or for you. Everyone has this, but you need to nurture it, and it's not so you can it keeps you from getting into trouble with other people. Because most people have a problem they're trying to hide. You don't necessarily want to become part of it. You wish them the best, but you don't want to get invested to it. So that's a huge advantage that comes with age. If you take care of it. Anyhow, love you, God bless.